rare glimpse at the Pasadena Unified School District, censorship, or just personnel matter at Pasadena Community College, and another vital community resource to temporarily shut down. All that plus CCN weather with Curtis Peek. Next on CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood, seconds away.
Do you have a great business idea? The Pasadena Enterprise Zone can help. The Pasadena Enterprise Zone, open for business.
Hi, I'm Jesse Avila at the Convalescent Aid Society, a nonprofit organization established in 1923. We provide the free loan of durable medical equipment, of hospital beds, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and many other items. Your donations and contributions are welcome and greatly appreciated. We are located at 3255 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena.
We're here to help you.
Please give us a call and check for availability at 626-793-1696.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood. I'm Sehnita Joshua Madison. We'll tell you about the tensions mounting at PCC and look at an everyday woman in Pasadena. But up first, we're changing things a little today, starting with our special guest in studio. Last May, filmmakers took on a daunting and innovative project of sending out 50 crews to follow 50 subjects at 28 schools in one day to document a day in the life at the Pasadena Unified School District. Subjects included everyone from the superintendent to the custodian, and it offers a rare glimpse of what it takes to teach a diverse student body. Coming up in a few weeks, a year from when the short films were shot, producers will premiere the feature-length film of the project. We have co-producer of Go Public, A Day in the Life of an American School District, Dawn O'Keefe, here with us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So you are formerly a news producer, and you are a mother of 4 who all went to PUSD. PUSD or just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're used to corralling a lot of people around and information and all of that. But what has been the process of taking these 50 short films, you know, they're pretty diverse in their subject matter, and trying to make a feature film out of it?
Well, it's been daunting. We had 350 hours of footage that we have culled down to an hour-and-a-half feature film. And it's just different than the 50 short films, which, you know, are more intimate portrayals, 4 minutes each. And this is a look at the entire district. So the district is the subject rather than the individual subjects being the subject. So they're all interwoven, and you just get to see this amazing sort of complex situation that goes on every single day here.
So what was the story you were trying to tell with all of these different voices?
We were just trying to invite people from our community into our public schools. We felt like there was a lot of opinion, but not actually a lot of confirmed visits to the schools where they could reinforce what their opinions were. And so after the failure of Measure CC, we decided that it was a disappointment, and what better way than to actually show our community, our schools. And as the project grew, we realized that this is a topic that's resonating across the United States right now, that public school is being routinely criticized, and yet a lot of times people really don't know what's actually going on.
So you wanted to show kind of more of the positive sides that people aren't talking about.
You know, we didn't have a slant. We basically felt confident because we had lived the experience that if we took cameras in, and we had 50 different filmmakers, so it wasn't like we were controlling what they were going to see. They documented what was, but having lived it, we felt like, you know, they were going to find some really great things. They were also going to see some need. They were going to see some, you know, challenges, and we were okay with that. So that turned out to be exactly what happened. And I think the district allowing us to take 50 cameras was pretty unprecedented. And I think it shows that they have confidence in their schools.
No, I mean, that is, and also to, coordinate all of these people in one exact day and, coordinate their schedules. I mean, that's quite a feat. And for them to give you that kind of access all over the district.
Right, right.
But, you've been screening this all over the country, and you've probably been talking to other, people in other school districts. What have you found as far as comparing PUSD to other school districts? What do you find to be the strengths and maybe the weaknesses of the school district?
I think just some of the programs that we're doing are actually pretty innovative, and so there's interest in how we are trying to sort of meet the needs of a diverse community by providing different programs. One program that has been we call it our viral piece is on the dual language Spanish program and the dual language Mandarin program, because those are growing in popularity across the nation. We also, have found that just the budget cuts and the challenges that are being faced, the big issues facing public education with the growth of charters and the growth of the potential vouchers in some states, which is further along than in other states. This whole idea about are we supporting our public schools or are we undermining our public schools with our education policy is a hot topic right now.
And, with the challenges that PUSD faces, just with being able to keep the schools running, just the budget issues that they have, are they able to really be creative in how they're dealing with the students, or do they kind of just have to funnel everything through a system? What did you see?
I would say absolutely not. I mean, we ourselves personally, our 4 children went to elementary school and got a wonderful, rich, excellent academic education as well as a creative education. Then we personally chose the International Baccalaureate program, and that was, offered and available, and my kids have really benefited and thrived in that program. But now there's 8 pathway programs, with the Culinary Arts and the Health Academy and the Creative Arts and Media and Design Academy and the Engineering Academy at Muir, and there's all these different sort of programs that can meet the needs of interests of kids, give that linked learning, practical experience from in the classroom to the workplace. So I really think we're being very progressive in trying to, see what the needs are, see how the 21st century is changing, and rise to the occasion, really.
Well, speaking of the budget cuts, again, they're trying to fill like a $10 to $12 million gap. One of the stories that you had, and brought a tear to my eye, it was the custodian, Mr. Lopez, and he was talking about, everyone was like, he works so hard, and part of the reason is because they had to let go of other custodians. And, even right now, with the pink slips going out, they sent out 94. It was recommended that they send out 160. Do you think that more pink slips would have been the answer?
No, I don't think more pink slips would have been the answer. I think it's a very difficult situation, and they've got to meet their budget requirements, and I wouldn't want to be those guys sitting there making those decisions. They're tough. So, Felix is having to carry an extra load. Most people in the district are having to carry an extra load. Everybody's having to sort of step up and do what they can to meet the realities of the budget.
Okay. Last question really quickly. One of the powerful shorts that you had was of Ramon Miramontes, and you really just kind of saw his emotions, going up and down. And he has decided not to run for re-election, didn't run for re-election. How do you think, in some of the ways he was dealing with people, was so aggressive. Mm-hmm. How do you think the board is going to change now that he won't be in there? And obviously there's just a little bit of change coming in.
Right. Well, Ramon spoke his mind, and I think he represented, honestly, from his perspective, what needed to be pushed forward. And his style is confrontational. I don't know there's only going to be one new board person, and so whether they are confrontational, time will tell, if that's their style. So.
Well, it was really powerful to see. I mean, just the conviction that he felt. So there's no judgment on his stance. It's more just that's just his style. And I know you have to run out. You're going to be addressing the City Council on the 8th guiding principle of including education. Quickly, if you could tell me about that. I know you have to run.
Well, I'll just read it. There's been 7 guiding principles in the planning document that we make decisions. The City Council uses that document when they plan and run things through and see how it's affecting. And there was no mention of public education in that document. So for several years, Invest in PUSD Kids has been trying to get an 8th guiding principle, and tonight the City Council is going to be putting this forward and voting on it, and so we're very happy about that. It says Pasadena is committed to community planning that supports vibrant educational resources responsive to the broad needs of our diverse community. Recognizing the relationship between education and economic vitality, quality public schools are a shared community responsibility.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you going and fighting for this. And the Go Public project, it will be screened at the ArcLight.
Yes.
That's May 8th.
Yes.
At 7:30?
At 7:30, we're having pre-festivities at 6 p.m. in the Garfield Plaza. And people can get tickets by going to our website.
Okay.
So,
perfect.
Right.
And that's gopublic.org?
Project. GoPublicProject.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dawn, for
You're
joining
so
us.
welcome.
And I'm just a big fan of the project. I think it's just so amazing that you pulled it off.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Well, controversy ignites at PCC, but if you think it's stormy there, check outside. CCN meteorologist Curtis Peek has your look at this week's windy weather. All that and more when we return on CCN, Your News, Your Neighborhood.
This CCN Green Minute is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
Hi, I'm Luna with CCN, and I'm here with Janetta Harris to give us some tips on how customers can save energy and money.
Great. Thank you, Luna. First, I'd like to offer to our customers, if you're in the market for purchasing new appliances, please take a look at the Energy Star emblem that may be on them. You'll see 2 numbers on them. One number obviously is the purchase price of the appliance. The other number reflects how much energy they will actually save in a year. So make sure we look for those. We not only have them on appliances, but also electronic devices.
And what kind of electronic devices besides the refrigerators and the kitchen appliances can customers look for?
We all like computers, right? We all want those laptops. We need printers to get information out. So again, the Energy Star logo will be on those appliances or those electronic devices as well. We have a host of information, a lot of electronic and energy efficiency tips on sce.com/tips, or they can call into our call center at 800-736-4777.
Thanks so much. I'm sure everyone appreciates those ways that they can save money and energy. This has been your Southern California Edison Green Minute.
This CCN Green Minute is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
Welcome back. Reporters are taught to cover the story, not become part of it. But as PCC's journalism students found out last week, you can't always keep out of the headlines, especially when your professor is put on administrative leave. CCN's Kathleen Mendoza has more on that story.
The story hit home for PCC journalism students left in the dark when the university placed journalism professor and advisor to the campus newspaper Warren Swill on administrative leave right before he was about to teach class last Thursday.
He was called out just as he was about to walk into his class so that the students had no idea what was happening. He was taken outside and told that he had to leave the campus, turn in his keys, and he would be on paid administrative leave till further notice.
Retired journalism professor and previous advisor to the Courier, Mickey Bolliger, was named interim advisor for the paper. She's tasked with guiding students to report on a story that may have begun with the paper's own coverage on what many see as a time of crisis on campus. Front page headlines such as Campus Seeds describing results of a no-confidence vote for PCC President Mark Rocha was an example of articles that caused a stir around campus. Administrators deny any link between the paper's coverage and Swill's leave and point to a complaint filed against Swill as reason to the decision. Yet there is still no confirmation as to why Warren Swill was placed on leave. And when we reached out to him, he simply said, "I am not at liberty to speak about this matter." Courier Editor-in-Chief Nick Saul finds the timing of a visit to the paper from Rocha and Swill's subsequent leave due to an allegation of employee misconduct as suspicious.
2 days before he was put on administrative leave, the president actually visited us and told us he had a problem with our coverage. So 2 days after that happened.
While many questions remain unanswered in this ongoing investigation, Swill students continue to stay positive and apply what they learned from their professor.
We're using what he taught us so we can keep going on with the paper and doing business as usual.
In Pasadena, Kathleen Mendoza, CCN.
Thanks for that report, Kathleen. PCC President Dr. Mark Rocha went on 89.3 KPCC's Air Talk and spoke out on behalf of the situation occurring on campus. He mentioned that Assistant Superintendent Dr. Robert Bell had to make the very difficult decision of putting Professor Swill on administrative leave because they received a complaint against the Professor Swill. They cannot divulge those details out of respect to the complainant and also to the privacy of Mr. Swill. When asked if the complaint came from a student, Mark Rocha responded, quote, "I know the answer to that question, but I think I'm not permitted to say," unquote. Rocha did say that in a letter to the PCC community, Dr. Bell made clear 2 points. One, any accusation of retaliation by Dr. Bell's actions is false. And two, publication of the Courier will go on as usual. Joe Funtner, the Dean of Visual Arts and Sciences, told the PCC Courier that Swill's leave will continue pending the outcome of an investigation into the allegations made against him. Well, the winds kicked up and blew harder than we've seen in some time, giving people flashbacks to the massive windstorm that hit the area a little over a year ago. CCN's meteorologist Curtis Peek is here to tell us all about it and what we can expect from this week. Curtis, there haven't been many red flags warnings today, but is that supposed to pick up?
Well, there hasn't been any red flag warnings at all because we're not warm enough for that yet. But what the National Weather Service has done has issued wind advisories. In order for us to get a wind advisory, the winds have to be at least 35 miles per hour or more. So what we are going to see in some of the viewing area tonight, we are going to see winds 44 miles per hour up to 55 miles per hour. So if you are driving a high-profile vehicle up in the San Gabriel Mountains, or if you are going across Interstate 5, please be very careful with that. We do have a northeast wind that's coming down, and they are kicking up very, very hard. So as I said, today the high was 69 degrees. Our low tonight is going to be 49 degrees. Normally we are at 72 degrees. As you can see, we are a little below average right now. Record back in 1989 was 99 degrees. Here's our weather headlines. We are going to see some damaging winds all across the viewing area tonight. When I say damaging winds, that storm that Sehnita did mention about a year and a half ago, we did see a lot of power lines down. We did see a lot of tree branches down. So we might be able to see those things tonight in the viewing area. So if you are out, please be very careful driving. But look, by Wednesday, these winds are going to die down. We are going to have a warm weekend. But as quick as the weather does warm up, we are going to see that ridge begin to flatten out, and we are going to see a cool weekend. When I say a cool weekend, 73, 76 degrees, across some viewing areas. So to me, that's a beautiful weekend. All right, let's take a look what's happening outside right now. 65 degrees, our winds are out of the northwest, 20 miles per hour. So we are not experiencing any wind advisories here in the San Gabriel Valley right now. Our sunrise tomorrow morning is going to be at 6:31. Our sunset at 7:19. As we take a look at our overnight lows right now, as we can see, it's going to be a chilly night. We are going to see 49 degrees here in Pasadena and 48 in Glendale and Alhambra. For our highs tomorrow, we are going to see temperatures in the 60s, 71 degrees in Arcadia and Monrovia, also El Monte and West Covina. So we are going to be in the low 70s and the high 60s. Here's our 7-day forecast. This is what we can expect across the viewing area. 75 degrees in the San Gabriel Valley tomorrow. But like I said, Wednesday, we are going to pick up to 83 degrees. This is going to be our warmest day. But that ridge of high pressure, as I said, will be getting to flatten out. We are going to see 78 degrees on Friday and Thursday. But by Saturday and Sunday, that cool weekends, as I said, 73 degrees. Monday, we are back down to 72 degrees. We are going to see clouds begin to move in on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And tonight, if you are out, wherever that wind does die down at, be prepared for a chilly night. We are going to see some winds die down. The clouds are going to move out. And when the clouds do move out, we do not have the blanket to hold in the radiation from the earth, so it escapes back out into the atmosphere, and that makes for a chilly night. Sehnita, back to you.
Well, it looks like the rest of the week is just perfect, so thanks for that, Curtis. A look at an extraordinary, every-way woman making a mark in her own way despite limited resources. All that and more when we return on CCN.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. Now, we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until there's no secret that will make you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this dangerous, but they are returned.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up with that, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
It's not as heated as PCC, but we're also reporting on a story that hits close to home. Many of you know that our show comes to you live from the Pasadena Media or Pasadena Community Network studios on North Los Robles. Recently, we found out that this studio will close for a number of months as they make a transition to a new studio. We're going to bring you that full story next week, but first a look at the impact the studio makes in helping people in the community reach their dreams. CCN's Paulo Alejandria profiles one of the top shows being filmed at the studio. Thanks for being here, Paulo.
Thank you.
Well, you know, this woman, Yolanda, I mean, there is just no messing with her, and a little studio space is not going to get in her way.
When you think of words like strong-willed and determined, that does not even begin to describe Yolando, as you plainly see in my report. A woman on the verge of making history of her own, Yolanda Mitchell Brown films her hit talk show Every Way Woman right here in Pasadena in this studio. But with the studio in flux, what's next for the long-running series? I caught a glimpse behind the scenes and talked to the creative force behind the show.
Women, to this day, strange women come up to me and just start asking me questions and advice and telling me their life for no reason. And I figured there must be a reason why.
When singer Chaka Khan sang the lines, "I'm every woman, it's all in me" in 1978, she might have been referring to someone who's a lot like this woman, Yolanda Mitchell Brown, creative force and intense whirlwind of energy behind the acclaimed talk show Every Way Woman. The show is considered one of the more popular programs produced at the Pasadena Community Network, and, Brown says, is currently in talks with a number of major networks to be picked up nationally. Not bad for a woman whose natural gift of gab convinced her to produce her first shows in her very own living room a mere 5 years ago. Sandra Sepak and Stacey Lewis, who serve as co-hosts on the popular show, say their boss's passion is inspiring and rather infectious.
Yolanda, first of all, is
just a very hard worker. She puts together a show like nobody else. The show is very professional. It's very well written. It's very well done.
I think whenever you work with somebody who is so driven, you would be foolish not to engulf or take that in. And yes, it is permeated throughout the crew.
Brown, the original Everyway Woman, is always working to improve her show, sacrificing not only her time and sleep, but also her money. She credits the Pasadena Community Network as an invaluable resource in getting her show established. Recently, producers like Brown heard the studio's facilities will be unavailable for the next 2 months or more. This halt in studio production was forced while the station completes its move to its new site on South Los Robles Boulevard. Brown says information she's heard about this halt in production was not given to her directly by station executives, but has been confirmed by multiple sources. She says this alleged lack of notice has not soured her feelings on the studio, but has forced her to scramble to keep her show going.
I love the studio. I think what it does for producers here is great, but just to let us know would be a little common courtesy. That's all I'm asking for. And at this time, I do not know. And I'm kind of in limbo. Do I cancel my guest? Do I look for another studio? What do I do?
But as they say, the show must go on, and the show will do exactly that if Brown has anything to say about it. Brown says the situation at the studio is nothing more than a challenge that she intends to meet head on. The talent and crew of Everyway Women share their producer and fearless leader's confidence and resolve. And why shouldn't they? After all, as anyone who's been around her will tell you, when it comes to Yolanda Everyway Woman Brown and her show, mama don't take no mess. If somebody says mama don't take no mess when it comes to
I
you,
think that's a compliment. So it's interesting because when I'm calm, it's like, what's wrong? I'm not used to this. I can't take this. I can't,
What a dynamic woman. Everyway Woman's unique mix of women and real issues has garnered interest and acclaim from many across the country, including some influential entertainment leaders. Yolanda sees the show expanding even further and is considering its humble beginnings, that shouldn't be too far off.
Well, and the main point of this show too is just to talk about Everyway Woman, not celebrities, not all of the the other shows that are reaching out to high profile people, but just everyday women.
Yeah, you got a show trying to reach women, every woman in every way.
And some men out there too.
Well, yeah, reach me too.
Well, and yes, you did see me on that panel. I'm one of the co-hosts and moderators for the show. I connected with Yolanda right here at this studio when she came to volunteer for the newscast. So this studio is a big part of a lot of our stories and a great resource for the community. Now we just need to make sure it's up and running so producers can still keep their shows going. For more information, check out everywaywoman.com. That's it for this newscast. Please reach out to us with news tips and community news at crowncitynews.com. You can also join us on Facebook and Twitter to keep updated on the latest. Thanks to Don O'Keefe from Go Public Project for joining us in studio. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including Southern California Edison, Wink Marketing, the Pasadena Enterprise Center office building with available space, and Dr. Fareed Zarif. Thanks also to the CCN crew. They make this show possible. And finally, we thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Join us each week as we cover the news in Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley. For all of us here at CCN, I'm Sehnita Joshua Madison. Have a great week.